You might be wondering, what do these two books have in common? Absolutely nothing. But they are the shortest and longest books that I read in a 2 month time period. Hey, baby, my name is Aisha, and welcome to Aisha's Makeup Corner, where we talk all things makeup, books, pop culture, or any other current fixations that I might have at the moment, all within the corner of my room. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, I look this good. On a Sunday evening, no less. Currently, these looks are being developed on my TikTok as we speak. They will be landing on my Instagram page in maybe 2 days' time. Who knows? Honestly, my schedule is so messed up, it's not even funny. I work 60 hours a week total between my two jobs, and I just took on a poetry workshop for the next 8 weeks. So, you get these videos when I want you to get them, but be on the lookout. Any of the fun makeup looks that you see while I'm talking about books on this page can always be found on my Instagram and my TikTok. So, head on over. Take a look. I kind of think about my Instagram as a lookbook. So it's just all the collections of almost every single look I did. TikTok, I love like participating in trends and sounds and stuff. And it's a nice place to put my 1 minute tutorial. So if you're like, girl, you be yapping on here too much for me, that's okay. That's why I make short form content, right? I satisfy the people any way I can. Think of me as the Robin Hood of makeup, but I don't have to steal anything. Think about the community based action of Robin Hood and then think about me. I kind of want to introduce a new series. Is it too early to do a new series? It's like my third video. I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. Did I think about another jingle? Yes. Can I sing? No. But here is the jingle.
It's too big. It's too short. Poorly written. It's too much. It's not enough. And I could be that judge because I can back it up.
Child. Anyway, so
Clearly, I'm obsessed with having my own jingle. You must be wondering, what does this jingle even mean? This refers to the book reviews that I do every 2 months. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. We are in the month of September. So in July and August, I read this many books, this many genres. I get all of this information from Storygraph. And I noticed that there was a really big difference between my shortest book and my longest book. I wanted to start a series comparing the two books every time I do a review. I have my laptop right here with Storygraph pulled up so I can read my review, my rating, where I put it in my tags, and just compare the two books because they couldn't be more different from one another. If you read them, you know exactly what I mean. Let's start with the longer book because despite it being 760 pages, I don't really have much to say besides the fact that I read it and I would not recommend it. City of Gods and Monsters is book one in the House of Devils series by Kayla Edwards. You have a tortured heroine. She's adopted, doesn't know her family. She's very nice though, I guess. You have Mr. Dark and Brooding romantic interest. This book is described to be a romance fantasy. It happens in an urban setting. It has a multitude of supernatural beings, werewolves, vampires, witches. Slow burn. Eh, Personally, the romance wasn't very good, so nothing really burned for me. Reluctant allies to lovers. I think that's actually a really good description because before it was described to me as enemies to lovers. I don't know if the guy who was set out to find me and presumably kill me, and then we both decide that we have mutual interest finding the missing girls in the city, and then I started having feelings and dreams about him, and then we end up as lovers, is really enemies to lovers. So reluctant allies to lovers is much better. Found family, which was cute. That was a cute part of the book. Strong female friendships. Um, I didn't see that. Magic, demons, mystery, badassery, and more. I put it in two of my tags on Storygraph, read it but would not recommend it, and y'all lied about this on TikTok. Lastly, I finished this book in about 10 days or so. What happens in this book is that Laurel is human and orphan and taken in by a pair of supernatural beings. She has an adoptive sister. She's going to this magical school, and apparently, humans in this world cannot do anything. They're kind of the bottom of the totem pole. There are witches, vampires, werewolves, all sorts of kinds of magic. Demons and creatures. There are dark slayers, which are supernatural bounty hunters, but it seems like they just have any kind of power that they want. Like there's no specification. And that is Darian. Darian is a Hellsayer. He's top of the food chain. He has a tortured background. At first, it seems kind of promising. Darian gets paid a stupid amount of money to find Loren. But he's like, wait, I can't like kill you or take you to whoever is asking for this bounty because you're human. No, I don't hurt humans. They decide that she should move in with him. Well, they find out why or who is trying to get her and why she's so important. Apparently, she has the ability to find this well, and in this well it can turn anyone into a supernatural creature and or like make them immortal, powerful. She's like, I don't know nothing about this key, and they're like, yes you do. So basically she got a hit out on her, and through this reluctant allyship their romance grows. They come closer and closer. Darian's like, I'm twisted and terrible, and my mom died when I was young via suicide, but I think my dad did it, so I don't deserve you. And Lauren is like, he's danger and trouble, and I can't be affiliated with him, but I want him. Girl, sure, whatever. Basically, the book was just too long. 700 pages. It was simply too long for the plot line. The problem that I have with romance fantasy is that usually one of the genres are sacrificed for the other, and most times both of them are sacrificed for bad writing. Sometimes an author is really good at world building and describing the power structure around the characters, so much so that we forget character development and we don't develop the relationship between the main character and the romantic interest. So when they get together, it feels either rushed, it feels really dry, or it feels very sex heavy. And remember, sex does not equal romance. Sometimes the romance is really, really well done, but then the characters end up making stupid decisions to protect their romantic interest in their budding relationship. So then the plot ends up suffering for it. My least favorite plot lines is when a character is supposed to be really methodical, logical, and patient, but when their lover is like dying or they assume their lover is like stepping out on their relationship, they're very reactive. They make really impulsive decisions that they haven't made for 500 pages, and then everything ends up being fixed at the end. Like, girl. I hate the miscommunication plotline, which I feel like happens a lot for the sake of romantic drama. Another struggle that I have is the chosen one plotline, whether it's that we need this person for a particular ritual or that this person thinks they're human or boring. They actually end up transcending. This person is attempting to like hide their importance or magic. What's happening in the background is all of the people who are trying to find her. There's a bunch of like missing clues and connection. Who bought this? Somebody's buying potions for this. We have to go over the bad side of town to find this person, to talk to this person, to torture this person. So it's a lot of like detective work that's happening in the background. That's all fine and dandy. The book was simply too long. The book was simply too long. There would be a chapter of a lot of words, not a lot of information, not a lot of things that would require the chapter, the book to be that long. I felt very impassioned about the romance, and there became a point where almost every chapter I knew what was going to happen. There was nothing in the book that shocked me or felt any different from other romantices that I read. Just the plot line of like good girl, bad boy, get together, kiss. There's nothing shocking about that. There were moments that I like I mentioned, I like the found family. So in the bounty hunters, there are people who have came together. They're not related except two of them, Darian and his cousin, but they have a family structure, which I really, really like. I like this kind of metropolis of different supernaturals. um there wasn't much else to like. Obviously, get to the point where we find out that she's the key to the well. It's not an actual physical key, but she has the ability to find the well herself. There were things that were just set up in the beginning that didn't have any follow through. First, there was Darian's boss, who was big and bad. Then we found out that Darian's dad is his boss, who was big and bad. Then we found out that Darian's boss, who was his dad, who was big and bad, Ben knew about his little girlfriend, Lauren, and wanted to use her as a well so he doesn't die from his illness caused by his magic. And then Darian just walks him into a house with a creepy monster and kills his dad that way. This house that appeared out of nowhere that Darian used to spend his childhood in, that he knew that there was this unknown beast lurking in, he just fed his dad to it, and then boom, dad's gone. You could have been handled your dad like that? I, okay. Then there was a whole, oh my God, the whole city's gonna blow. We First of all, there was a serum that was turning people into monsters.
They made a serum to turn them back into humans, but the well was going to explode with power, and then it did explode. But then Darian took off a necklace that, or excuse me, Darian took off a ring that he happened to have that was given to him by another guy. He was like, "Save yourself. If you live, my life is worth it." So then he cradles her while the whole world explodes. This whole city explodes. She wakes up. It's like Darian cries over his body.
Finds the well and then reverses time, reverses like the last 30 minutes of people dying from the explosion, people being turned into monsters, and just saves the city. Oh, and then passes out from exhaustion because she used too much of her magic. Girl, if you like it, I love it. Fine, sure. I think this book needed to be edited down a lot. I think there's like four other books in the series. There is three more books in the series. I won't be reading them. The book really didn't end up on a cliffhanger that would make me want to read the other books. There was just so much that happened in the book that wasn't important that I could have just gone without knowing. There was a lot of brooding. There was a lot of thinking. There was a lot of moodiness. I didn't need that. The banter was decent. Well, these are supposed to be college age kids, simultaneously not going through college age stuff. They're literally bounty hunters, like they're paid to hunt and kill people. But also, yeah, one of the werewolves called me when he needed help, but I was at a party getting sloshed. So it just feels disproportionate. I really wanted to like this book. There was so much hype around this book. The cover was fine. I liked it enough. My final rating of it was a 2.25. Now, jumping into my shorter book, which is Tender is the Flesh.